All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Juliette Eel, your host for today's episode of the podcast, and I'm back with the team from The Nature of Natural with Tim McGaffey and Jenny Elder. Welcome back into the studio, you guys.
Hi, Julianne. How are you?
Good, good. It sounds so funny to call it a studio, but with all the technology these days, you guys can be on location at an exciting event, and it's so fun to catch up with you. So, Tim, where are you today?
We are in Fort Collins, Colorado, at Colorado State University at the International Society for Equitation Science Conference, and we are presenting the film, Get the Mind and the Feet Will Follow. And we have a little booth and sponsor this kind of thing, which is connected to those ideas that we discussed earlier about connecting Tom's philosophy to these behavioral principles. So these are the people who study those principles and, over and over again and peer reviewed and all that sort of thing. So here we are trying to make sure that we don't say anything that's out of line with the scientific community, right?
Oh, yeah. No pressure, right? No stress.
Yeah,
No pressure whatsoever.
yeah.
Well, it's exciting. And Jenny, you're right. You're there too. That's been part of I talk about technology and all the things going on, and I can hear there's crazy stuff going on in the background. But how exciting is it for you to be there? When I first picked up the call with you guys, you were talking to somebody. There are people at your booth. Has it been a good event so far?
One of the most interesting things for me is that we're meeting world-renowned equestrians, academics, intellectuals, scientists, horsemen. This is a real rare opportunity to meet these people. I mean, these are the people who write the books, that are just number one in the world.
Wow.
It's really an extraordinary experience.
That's so, like I said, no pressure, right? I mean, that's a lot. And, Tim, you've been talking about this event for quite a while, and I'm excited to hear about it. But since you're right in the middle of it, I think you were right. Our best bet is we need to backtrack a little bit and talk about the Mustang Summit from Grand Junction. And then maybe in our next episode, we'll come back and you can tell me a little bit more about this conference and what's going on. But I would love to hear the Grand Junction event, the Mustang Summit in Colorado at the end of last month was just a phenomenal success. When you consider the horses adopted and all the things that went on there. But I want to hear from, ground view, what was it like? What were your takeaways? Tim, you were a Mustanger, which is a big deal. Jenny, you were there also, and I got a lot of information from you. So I just can't wait to learn more. So Jenny, if you'll start us off for this one, tell me what the Mustang Summit was like. Describe the event altogether.
Well, the Grand Junction Fairgrounds is where it was held. And, we anxiously awaited the arrival of the Mustangs, which kind of came a day late. But what we were most impressed with was how the BLM conducted themselves and the handling of those horses. The event, Lisa does an amazing job coordinating. I mean, she had so many plates spinning up in the air. The other thing that struck me was when these Mustangs were adopted, the prices of them were extraordinary. And that was a real surprise to me.
That's a good sign, isn't it? That the Mustangs, the more we can raise those prices, although it's not good for the person that day, raises the value in the scheme of things.
But
People
they
need to
were
realize how
they were
wonderful.
willing to pay prices. They were willing, there was a lot of love stories going on. They had to have that. So that was pretty interesting to watch it. But all in all, I thought it went off seamlessly. And the enthusiasm from the public, the conduct of the BLM was impressive. So
That's so good to hear. Good to hear. And so, Tim, I can't wait to hear what you thought. You were thrown into the ring, as they say, with one of the yearlings. So, describe all of that. What was it like?
Well, it was something we've done many times before, and even for the BLM many years ago. As Jenny pointed out, the BLM has made a lot of improvements. So, anyway, the Mustang I was given was probably one of the more reactive ones. Some of them were quite sort of gentle from the beginning, where you could almost just walk up to them and touch them. But not the one that was allocated to me. She was, gonna bang against the panels and things if you weren't careful and hurt herself, perhaps.
Right.
So, it was good. We got her, so that we could get quite a bit of progress with her. Of course, we only had 2 days before the adoption, and she was really making some great progress towards the end of the second day.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth day would have probably brought her all the way, sort of around where we had halter on her, and even get her even more gentle than she was, but she wasn't nearly as scared, well, aroused, right, emotionally. She was able to take the information we were trying to give her through pressure and release, and um, and kind of digest it. Where in the beginning she was just, overreacting and thought, you know, we were after her, or she was in danger, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we got through all of that, and as Jenny said, the horses were adopted for really a lot for that group of what, six, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa said that was the highest selling group of yearlings in the United States,
Wow.
that the Mustang summits have dealt with.
Uh-huh.
And so that was good, because when I,
Yes.
when I first got her, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to get her adopted if she's really afraid like that?
Yes.
But it worked out, and worked out on all levels. Lots of people came. I was surprised, actually, being in Grand Junction
Mm-hmm.
and on the western slope of Colorado, which is a fairly, it's not the most populous area of Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
and traditional ranchers and so forth. But I don't know how many people were there, but in the hundreds, easily in the hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa would know. Um,
Right. Right.
and so, yeah, it was good. It was a lot of, um, it was fun. We got to meet a lot of people, and the other trainers. Uh, they were very good and mindful, and they all did great jobs with their horses.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll do it again if we have the chance.
Absolutely. Well, what I love about those events is that it depends on how many Mustangers she has at any given place, but we've done them usually with six. And so having the chance as an audience member to come in and see six different experts work and do their, even like you said, it'd be great to have like a week or longer, but to come in for 2, 3, however many days, it's really nice to see each person and how differently they do. But you can't still compare because every horse is going to be different. But I know that pressure. My partner Bruce is one of the Mustangers, and boy, when you come in, you just want to know that that baby that I've had for 3 days is going somewhere. And in every single summit that I've been to, they've all been adopted. But I will tell you, in Albuquerque, the first year we did this, the adopter fell through at the last minute. And so I had a breakdown thinking that our baby was not going to go. It was going to go back to holding. I was horrified. I cried. I did the big boohoo tears. Well, and so an adopter came along at the end and took her, and it all worked out great. But it's pressure. It's stressful to think that yours might not be adopted, you know? So I totally get it. And they're all just different. So tell me about the person who adopted. You had a little Palomino, right?
I called her Little Blondie,
Little
and
Blondie.
I did the same thing that you did. I didn't sleep the night before
Mm-mm,
and
mm-mm.
during
It's
the
so
whole
scary.
adoption process.
So Jenny,
You know,
were you watching as this was going on?
oh
Could
yeah,
you see
I
who
was
it was
there on
adopting?
staff to, yeah, Tim's kind of underplaying when he said his had a little higher threshold. His was like a little hummingbird in that pen. And I I think the right man got the right horse on that deal because Tim is so experienced. This is, as he said, this isn't his first Mustang demonstration in this
Right.
venue, it is, but he's been doing this for close to 30 years now. So that
Yes.
little filly was lucky that she got Tim to kind of take her through that initial.
Right.
Yeah,
And have
it was
that
good.
patience.
It was fun to
Yes.
watch. I have a lot on video. I haven't had the time to put it together yet, but
Hmm.
it was really good. The other five babies, like Tim said, you and I could have walked in there and put a halter on it. So, it was definitely apples to oranges, and Tim's skill level was extraordinary. So
That's
there you go.
fabulous. Well, that little baby's guardian angel was looking down and sent her to Tim, I
Absolutely.
believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do want to say though that that was an opportunity uh, to tie Tom's philosophy to the science. So
Hmm.
in those sessions where we worked in the public, we're able to say some of these things that we're promoting here at this conference. Like, Tom would have said this, and this is what I'm doing because, Tom, something that Tom perhaps advocated at
Hmm.
that time. And then I'd, say whatever the behavioral principle was. And our philosophy, Tom or John, um, and I's philosophy was that if we were able to do that, we could bring this to more average horse people, that they would actually have a deeper understanding of behavior and how the horse learns, and what we know now call equitation science. And it's, of course, well proven by, like Jenny said, all these world class scientists who, you know, disseminate the smallest some, experiment that is tested over and over again.
Hmm.
So that was good. That was one of the first public, I guess, demos that we did that did both things like
Wow.
that. And I don't know. I don't think anybody left when I started using scientific words because I didn't try to use that many. I was like, oh, no, don't say that. The whole outfit will leave. Everybody, as long as people know who Tom is, or usually
Sure.
they do.
Sure.
People embrace his philosophy or think that they do. And so if we can continue that on and get better at it, that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. So walk me through if I'm in the audience, what did it look like? Like the first day, what happened with that baby? What was your step-by-step process? How did that go?
Well, one of the things we're trying to always focus on is arousal, or what Tom would have said, working from the inside out. And the behavioral principle in the 10 training principles is a high regard for emotional states. So when those emotional states go beyond a certain level, their ability to think and learn is decreased, if not gone, right?
Hmm.
And so the first step was to get her down to a level of less arousal so that she was at least cognitive.
Mm-hmm.
So some stress is actually helps learning,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a fine line to,
Right.
like when you cross, and as you pointed out earlier, they're all different. They're all individuals. And so some of those, we call them thresholds, are their genetics. So they can like jump really quickly, or like some of them are just like, okay, this will be work. So the process really was like I needed to teach her what pressure was as sort of a language. I want you to go this way or that way, right? So I used food,
Mm-hmm.
um, to her food that was in her pen,
Mm-hmm.
um, to drive her essentially through pressure and release to that food. And then I would release the pressure and even go way outside as far as I could get away from her and let her stand at the food. And then eventually she started to eat. And then she started to understand, that my body language and the things that I were doing, there was a way out, right? To
Mm-hmm.
move in a certain way, go a certain place, and I'll get Tim to go away, and I'll get Tim to go away. So that gives them some control. And of course, when they think they have some control of their situation, then their arousals will come down. So that was the first step, because without that, you're just forcing it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as Jenny pointed out, I think earlier, don't be a surface worker is
Mm-hmm.
what Tom said. And if you transition to that, you're a surface worker. You're
Sure.
just trying to push on something that is happening inside that horse biologically, and that she can't perceive that information. So that was the first steps. And then you kind of go from there to see, get a little closer, reduce flight distance, see if you could touch her, and we just kind of worked through what we could do
Mm-hmm.
hour by hour with her.
Right. So by the third day, how did she end up? How did you feel about kind of where you were transitioning her to her new owner?
By the third day, she was pretty good about, like, at first, like, everything scared her. Even on the outside of the pen, there was so many people walking by,
Mm-hmm.
and there was sometimes carts, people, with manure carts, and everything like got her, like, she was afraid.
Right.
And I thought, on adoption day, uh, there was so many people, and they surrounded the round pen.
Oh
There was
gosh.
like people, in multiples around the round pen. I don't know. They were stacked out there. I thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's not going to handle this very well. But she did. Jenny, earlier on, one technique is, if you can use food sometimes with a barrier between when they're real afraid or they're aggressive or whatever. So one morning, well, a little kid came up, and he was real little.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he was, I don't know, he wasn't 2 feet tall. Like he wasn't very big. He was a
Uh-huh.
little tiny kid, and he walked up and he kneeled down, so he was virtually laying on the ground. And he gave him some hay, and she came up to the pen and took it out of his hand. And she
Nice.
wouldn't take it out of your hand in the pen, right?
Right. Right.
At that time, I could touch her with a long pole,
Uh,
and rub her withers with the pole, and she was okay with that. She got okay with that, and I got closer and closer. The pole was like 8 feet long to start with, and
mm-hmm.
I could slide up the pole, and I could get pretty close, actually, real close, but not. She wouldn't let me just touch her with my
Sure.
hand. So this kid does this. And so Jenny, we got her to get her little chair over there. So she sits down with the kid, and, they do the same thing. And so, uh, and she was okay with that, with
Uh-huh.
the pen in between her and the people. So on that day, I said, "Well, Jenny, get your chair and put it in the corner over there, and I'm gonna take her, through this process to you." And we'd go around a little bit, and so she was a lot better. She wasn't like bouncing off the wall or
Oh,
anything. She wasn't
uh-huh.
gonna let me do a whole lot, but she would stand by that pen there where Jenny was with in her chair. If you
Hmm.
stood up or anything, that was maybe too much, but
Right.
that's kind of how it ended right there. We were pretty close to touching her. I think, one more day we would have maybe gone over the hump, but
Hmm.
on that day, just having two days with that horse was a little not quite enough.
Right. You needed just a little bit more
Yeah,
time.
right. Yeah, one more day.
Well, do you know the people who adopted her? Do you know if they're going to have some help? Are they Mustang trainers? Do you know anything about her new situation?
They owned Mustangs
Okay,
and they had the right facilities.
good.
The lady who adopted her has two girls, and
Hmm.
so they've worked with Mustangs before. This little blondie horse that Tim had was beautiful. She looked like a registered quarter horse to me,
Hmm.
which is probably part of the appeal.
Right,
Um,
right.
but I wanted to say something because I really wanted to give kudos to Tim
Yes.
for holding to his principles
Hmm.
and doing right by that horse.
Amen.
Because I think other people would have caved under the pressure.
Hmm.
And that's why I kept saying, she was so lucky she had Tim, because this filly was obviously scared out of her mind. She had
Hmm.
a high threshold because I think that's who she is. But there was more to her story when I looked at the other ones that were,
Yeah,
you know, kind of
right.
quiet. So, in the past, what you see with these kind of babies is they get forced. And this
Hmm.
is, opposite, what Tim and I believe and how we train and work with them and perceive them. So I
Right.
was, enormously proud of Tim
I'm so
because
glad to
this
hear
this
that.
was a difficult
Wow.
difficult one.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and by the way, in sitting with the chair, by your pen I just put my hands on, I was resting my forehead and she came up and touched my hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that
it was
environment
really,
too, that when you
it's,
have the fans blowing and the people all around surrounding you, all of that is so different and it's so much sensory input for them. So, yeah, just those quiet moments with you. It's,
so
it's powerful.
it was a wonderful experience and, we just go on from here, but I did sleep very well that night, knowing that that little filly won the lottery ticket with the gal who adopted her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's special.
Yeah.
Very
So,
special.
I mean, if we get a chance to do it again, we will. And
Maybe
probably, we'll see how it goes if Lisa lets us back in, I guess.
Feeling she will. She has said
Yeah.
good things about the whole
Yeah.
experience. So,
Yeah. So that's our story, with
right.
that, and we were happy with it, and we're here now, and we're going to kind of carry that on, and hopefully, in our next podcast, we'll be able to talk more about this film that we haven't presented it yet
Hmm.
here at the conference, but we've got a lot more people coming to the booth
Hmm.
than we did at, say, the BLM
Right, right.
event, but that was a different thing. The booths were our
Hmm.
way, and but we'll see how that goes. And keep trying to connect those two things together, and of course we'll concentrate on Tom's philosophy, but eventually there'll be other people,
Hmm.
masters we'll call them, that we probably equate these kind of things too as well. But
Wow.
and of course, everybody probably knows is familiar with John. He passed away suddenly. After in the spring, we made a second film, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just about his aphorisms. That's how he gave uh, forwarded his philosophy through these aphorisms. And "Get the mind that feet will follow" is the title of the film, but it's one of those aphorisms.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made a film that equated each one of those, well, probably not all of them, but probably around 30 of them, with some behavioral thing with John and I talking about it. And that film isn't quite finished yet. However, we do have a trailer for it, so
Good.
we can post that up at some point.
I look
That's the
forward to seeing
story here
that.
in Fort Collins,
Yes.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot coming up and a lot going on, but all around you right now, I've been hearing the clinking glasses and people coming by, and it just sounds like an exciting event. And I know you're able to spread the word in a bigger way. So that's exciting news. Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to speaking with you next time to hear about the reception of the film at this event and to learn a little bit more. So you guys have a great time and keep us posted.
Well, thank you for having us and doing
Sure.
such great interviews for people who
Oh, well, I'm
need to
loving
be
it. So
guided
let me ask
through
Jenny,
talk.
how can people follow along? Tell everybody your social media information. So if they want to kind of learn about Tank the Mustang, for example, who gives little words of wisdom every now and then. So how can they follow you in an easy way?
They can go to The Nature of Natural, has their own Facebook page. And my Facebook page is Jenny Chase Elder. And just friend me. And I post quite often because, Tank is quite opinionated about things. And I really hate to break this to Tim, but he apparently is more popular than Tim and I.
Which is
That's the
fine,
way it
really.
goes.
I'm always amazed
Yeah.
at the reception that Tank the Mustang gets, especially
Yeah.
when he posts those words of wisdom. People kind of like that,
Yeah.
his droll sense of humor.
And there's a
I'm
website.
Yeah.
We have the website too, The Nature of Natural, and there's a lot of information there. There's many. There's a reference library and research. There's videos. There's links to places to get more information. And Ginny probably posts things on other places as well that I don't really know about, but
Well,
you have to ask
obviously,
her.
Instagram.
Yeah.
right.
And
Right.
the website is thenatureofnatural.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we have several different categories. We have horsemanship, we have stock dogs, and we have
Stockmanship.
stockmanship.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a page called The Hub. And so it's an educational website. We don't sell carrot sticks. We don't have products out there. But what we do have is education. What we do have is experience. Tim's depth of experience
Mm-hmm.
in the horse world is something that really needs to go into a book
Mm-hmm.
because of some of the wild adventures he's had and the people that he has worked with. And so it's pretty extraordinary. But also, Tim has a way with animals. It's just
Mm-hmm.
some people do, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim is one of those rare individuals that has that ability. And over the years that Tim and I worked together, I've seen some pretty cool things, pretty extraordinary things, especially his ability to work with difficult and troubled horses and livestock and stock dogs. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a really fun website with a lot of articles and pictures and links to other people that have, depth of experience the same way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you
Well,
have it.
I've loved looking
Yeah.
through it myself, and I love how y'all are connecting the dots, like you said before, with all the different people, and helping people translate what Tim is able to do, so that just the general public can understand it. Maybe they can do it, maybe they can't, but at least they can understand where you're coming from.
And,
Yeah.
So
and
that's
one other thing is we're going to be spending the winter in Ocala, Florida, and
nice.
hopefully we're going to meet a lot of people there and have a lot of great discussions and demonstrations and and show people a little bit about this equitation science and Tom Dorrance and meet with people that might be interested in learning and understanding a little bit more. Hopefully we'll find our tribe there.
I think
Well,
you will.
if yeah, and if anybody needs to just call, give me a call or give email. I'll be happy to talk to whoever if they have questions or anything. We're hopefully easy to deal with, or at least relatively so.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I look forward to getting y'all over to our side of the country in the fall. But for now, enjoy where you are, and I hope it's a wonderful event for you.
All right. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.